And joining us right now is the president, CEO, and founder of Tsakos Energy Navigation, Nikolas Tsakos. Thank you so much for being with us. Congratulations.
Thank you very much for having us. It's always a pleasure to be here on the ground, let's say.
Yeah, without a doubt, in person, no doubt, right? And that's a big deal. So tell us, I mean, you were talking with me earlier, and we were talking about that you have 71 vessels and you are moving energy, but now you have to go around what's going on in Russia. So tell us how it's changed and how business is and demand.
Well, as we came out of the COVID earlier in the last part of last year, we all felt that the worst was behind us.
Right.
And then all of a sudden we got the double whammy of the invasion of Ukraine, which has created a big dislocation of energy moves. So right now, in order to avoid taking in Russian oil, our ships have to move around and navigate more ton miles in order to have the same result.
Right.
Of course, that creates more inefficiency and makes the rates very, very high at this level.
Yeah, when we were talking about freight rates on all sectors of transportation, I mean, they're still quite elevated, right? But when oil comes down, that's helpful to you and to your customers, right?
Under normal circumstances, the lower the oil price, the more people buy it and the more we move. I mean, we are floating pipelines. Greek shipping represents 25% of the world's shipping around, so every 4 cargoes are moved by a Greek ship.
Yeah, without a doubt. And you know, as I look at the company too, I was seeing how a lot of your long-term charters are occupied, but you still have the availability of the others. You have crude oil and product tankers and LNG carriers and shuttle tankers as well. So when you're trying to go, instead of having to go to Russia now, you're picking up in the US, West Africa, Saudi Arabia. Do you hope that that changes, or it doesn't really matter to you?
Well, I think for us,
for efficiency, you said the other way is better.
The rates today are very, very high because of the invasion. But all of us would prefer a much more peaceful world, an open world, and more normalized returns, rather than having to go through this roller coaster of rates because of the invasion.
Sure, as a CEO, it's tough to navigate this type of environment because there's uncertainty. That being said, you know, I'd like to bring it here at home. We see oil at $100 a barrel. You said, you know, you and other shippers would like to see it come down some. But we have things that are happening. Strategic petroleum reserves are being released, right? Up to here in the States, right, each day. Also, President Biden's allowing more ethanol in gasoline over the summer. What are some of your big picture thoughts on energy? What could or should be happening?
I think we learned the lesson. I mean, we're still learning a lesson because things happened just recently, that we have to keep the existing energy sources and resources at the same time that we are building renewables.
Right.
I think it was premature of us to forget everything about oil and gas and just try to get renewables. Events like this show that we have to go hand to hand for a while in order to achieve a much greener result. And we as a company, we just signed a contract together with a very large European oil company to build our first dual fuel vessels. So these are green vessels that can switch. It's kind of a hybrid, like your hybrid car. So we can switch from oil to gas or ethanol if we have to at any time. So we're very proud. We're aiming by 2030 to have a full hybrid fleet of vessels. So I mean, it's a full hybrid fleet.
I mean, you've over 70 vessels.
So it's going to be, I would say, a tall task. But we did it again back in '93. We were a bit younger at the time, where we turned a single fleet of single hull vessels into double vessels.
It's interesting because we've had on CEOs that actually do exactly that, and they but they take existing, for example, we had a CEO who from here, taking trucks and taking those trucks and making them electric or making them more green. Are you taking the existing vessels and changing the dynamics within, you know, those vessels, or do you have to build all new vessels?
Well, I think economically we have a very modern fleet.
Yeah.
So we are putting technologies to reduce our footprint on the existing ships. But it's almost impossible because I mean, ships are not factories where you can actually grow the land or build outside it. They're floating structures, huge floating structures that have specific dimensions. So we will have to build, as we make our existing ships greener, we will have to bring the hybrid ships of the future going forward.
And just quickly, the U.S. companies, Chevron, Exxon, I see all of them as leaders today. Marathon, Oxy, Apache, all of these names are leading on the S&P 500 today. What do you think about some of these American companies? And if you were having a conversation with some of these CEOs, what would you talk to them about or tell them?
Well, I am lucky that I do have conversations with them because we are the client. I mean, they are our clients and we are the movers of their goods. I think most of them are going, or all of them, have similar thoughts. So we are all looking for our children for a much greener future, and I'm happy to have my son here with me today on the floor. So we need to be able to give our children a greener future, but it cannot happen overnight. So we're all working step by step, and the American companies are in the forefront. Companies like Chevron are doing a great job in teaming up with people like us.
Yeah, it's so nice to see you, Nikolas, Tsakos, and your family. Your son's here today for Greek Issuer Day at the New York Stock Exchange, but as you noted, 25% of the ships moving around the world are actually Greek. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you very much for having us.
And your insight
and all the best to a much more peaceful world, I hope.
That's beautiful. Thank you.